People with young adult kids, what's their plan for housing? Just curious. Seeing how hard it is for our family to finally secure housing, thankfully our kids are still young, so the problem is still years away, wondering how families ahead of us in life are dealing with this dilemma. We're gonna live together forever, maybe dig out another level in the basement and just keep digging down like mole people. Waiting for parents to die is what I was told by our 30 years old. Kinda out of the age range. But my GP, who is my age mid-30s, was thinking of buying a rental property which she would eventually give to her newborn child when they come of age. Vancouver is fucked, man, when people our age planning ahead this far for their children's future because they are afraid their children will never be able to afford to own here. Most kids are out of luck if their parents aren't wealthy. Whether it's just from co-signing or helping out with a down payment to dying and leaving their estate. If your parents aren't wealthy and you don't make enough, you're renting for life. It sucks, but owning a house is tough now. Some people will have to save for a lifetime. Our kid is 4, so we have a ways to go, but honestly our intention is to definitely help with his down payment to the extent that we're able to. I have one in their 20s living at home and banking $4,000 a month so they can move out in 3 years with a sizable savings. World-class education and multiple languages so that they're not required to stay in Canada when they grow up. Bro, I can't even plan for myself and a house. My kids are 7. I have no idea. My husband and I never received help because we grew up poor. We're not poor now, but I'm more worried about post-secondary costs than helping our kids buy property eventually. Hell, there's no way we'll be able to put them both through a university, let alone what a house purchase might be. 3 kids ranging in age from 29-32. All own homes in Saskatchewan. My kids got lucky. Youngest bought their house at 22.3 years ago now. With her got lucky it has a great townhouse in Ottawa for $1,400 a month. 2 years now. She's 26. Age 57 here, downsized 3 years ago to 2-bed bungalow. 2 kids back at home, 23 and 25, insecure employment and rent killing them. We ended up developing a basement to accommodate them when that was going to be our retirement job. They are not paying rent right now, but we have said they need to contribute something by September. I really worry. I can see us releasing our RSP funds to help them out. They'll inherit a decent chunk, but I have no plans of popping off anytime soon. I had to move across the country to the East Coast to be able to afford housing and am now 3,000 km away from my family. It depends on where my kids end up going for college, university. I let them know they are always welcome to live here. They have RESPs, and if they really wanted I could refinish the basement into an apartment that already has its own separate entrance. I'd charge cheap rent, but still something if they wanted to go that route. I think about it every day. I expect I'll hand the house down to them, that they'll use it instead of selling it. We have 1 kid. Maxing out his RESP annually for school. Going to turn the basement into its own separate house we could let him live in. We also have some assets to sell if he wants to move out on his own and buy his own place. We don't plan on making it a thing. We don't want him to know too much too soon in case he thinks he has it made and doesn't have to work hard to establish a career. Make sure we talk them out of any crazy ideas like moving to Southern Ontario for school. I'm encouraging my 16-year-old to build a nest egg. Maybe have enough for a nice camper van by the time he finally moves out. Vote in a party that will do something about mass immigration. We have 2 kids, aren't young adults yet. But we're doing everything we can to scrape together whatever we can to buy more real estate. They'll need our help to purchase theirs, so we're trying to make it happen now rather than later when things get even more expensive. Our little guy's still in grade school, but we already discussed just selling this house to him and any siblings for $300,000. $400,000 in 15 years. Houses might be $2 million by then. The deal would be that mom and dad will renovate the basement and live there for free rent but help with utilities and just have ourselves as one owners so we can't be kicked out. That way we can give them the best start we can while having just a small nugget to retire with, while also maybe getting some quality time with grandkids. We ain't greedy, just want the best for our offspring. Serious question, what's wrong with renting for life? Dink right now. Move to US for a bit on TN1. Make kids there. Hopefully fire and come back to Canada while kids get the option to move to US to secure housing or stay in Canada if they wish. Kids live like nomads in an RV. I don't believe this doom and gloom. If this shit isn't fixed within 3-4 years when my kid needs his own bedroom, then there are going to be much larger problems to be worrying about. Namely violence between the large class divides. Most of my friends' parents simply bought 2-3 properties in their names and they just moved into one when they were ready. My daughter is 19 months old. By the time she's 16 she will be like, okay, time for the nursing home, dad. I'll be 47 then. My wife and me paid for their education and have a house fund for them to help. They're also welcome to stay home as long as they please in our humble bungalow. My kids are awesome, I don't mind. I will likely buy a condo or something they can raise in university and then we can transition to them somehow at cost or something. When I'm in my 70s I'm going to sell my house and gift my cash to my kids. I'll slum my later years to give them a better quality of life. Been saving for our kids before they were born. Having time takes a lot of stress away. Eldest is 26 and engaged. Her and fiancé are renting and saving. Both on track for 6-figure incomes in the next year or so, not big spenders so they'll be fine. Encouraging them to buy a condo where somebody else does the maintenance work. Youngest is 23 and just graduated University of Ottawa. She'll likely settle there as it's more affordable. Our equity is all tied up in the house, unlikely we'll be contributing towards either down payment until we retire. We're early 50s so we'll still be at least a few years away, unless I win the lottery lol. My kids aren't there yet, but my plan is to collect cheap rent from them once they're done school, and save that rent for their down payment. Kind of a forced saving account. The rest of my plan is to give them the majority of my inheritance. My parents are divorced and each own a house, of which I'll get half, so between the two, I should be able to get my kids on track. Young adult living at home here. I'm fortunate enough to have a relationship with my mother that allows me to live at home. I'm saving about 40 of my income and trying to max out my TFSA ASAP with the hopes that one day I'll be able to put a down payment on a condo somewhere in the Golden Horseshoe. I just don't know where yet. Have 2 kids under 10. Expect they will each get one of our rental properties after university. Have 2 kids 13-14. Wife and I own our home and have a cottage. Both are willed to the kids. Kids have been told to focus on education. Their responsibility are to educate themselves. We'll provide the funding. Their jobs are to learn. They also earn when they learn and show results. Keeping voting liberal and everyone's kids won't be able to afford a roof over their heads. Look how many late 20s to early 30s are struggling currently. Do some math and you'll easily see after federal and provincial income taxes, CPP, A premiums, 2 carbon taxes, increased grocery utility bills etc. an Ontario resident is paying roughly 70% in taxes. Our kid is 0 years old but we already accepted we will provide them the full proceed and they pay us back as if we are the bank. Or we just gift DP and they deal with the rest. There is no plan. Live in abject poverty forever and die working. No retirement for your kids. Great job. Should have thought about all this before having kids but clearly intelligence isn't your strong suit. Wondering how families ahead of us in life are dealing with this dilemma. Kids get jobs. Kids save money. Kids buy their own place. Helping them into housing by giving them an early inheritance for a condo. We will buy a retirement house in the country low cost of living area and leave the kids the city house to live in.